Hi everyone. So here is another video. For this one, we're going to talk about distributive property. So this. I'm sorry. Let me change to my camera so you can see what I'm writing. Distributive property. Hopefully, I didn't misspell it. So basically, distributive property, as its name would suggest, it means that you're distributing something. And remember that, not remember. So we know that distributing means think of when you think about the word distribute, you're handing things out, like you're expanding them. Okay, so that's what distribution does in algebra. Basically, whenever you see a parenthesis and a number outside of it, okay, that you should think about distributive property. In algebra, you cannot do anything to solve the equations or anything like that, or add like terms, if some of the what you're dealing with is inside of the parentheses. So you have to unpack it and you take away the parentheses, and that's called distribution. Okay. So for example, let's take a look at the example of your homework right here. We have, in this case, we have negative 6x plus y. When you do distribution, you basically take the number that's outside of the parentheses and you're going to multiply it into every member of what's inside. So that means that your final answer will have two parts, because there are two things inside the parentheses. That's your check. So if you have three things, at the end, you should have three things. If you have four things, you will have four things. So that means in this case, we're going to multiply negative 6 by x. Technically, because there's no number over here, it really means there's a 1. So you're basically multiplying the negative 6 by 1. And oops, again, sorry. Let me go back to my camera. So let me back up, okay? So we are distributing negative 6 into x plus y, right? And whenever a variable doesn't have a number next to it, that means it's a 1. And this is why we learned sign numbers last time, because we are trying to, we needed that to be able to do the addition, multiplication, division, and subtraction with different numbers with different signs. So here's a negative 6 times 1. That gives me negative 6. And the x is right there, okay? And then I'm going to multiply negative 6 times y, which gives me negative 6y. And the plus sign is in the middle, okay? Which we can rewrite as negative 6x minus 6y, because adding a negative number is the same thing as subtraction, okay? So that's what distribution means. So let's see if I have another example in your homework to show you. This may be the only one, but otherwise I will make up another one so that you can see one more example. Looks like the rest of it is just equations. Okay, I'll just make up another one so that I don't waste time going through this. Okay, so let's go back to this one. Let's say that you had 4x times x squared plus y. And I did this a little bit different so that you will see how it might be done when you also have a variable outside. This is why we learned exponents first, and we also learned adding like terms, okay? So this is really, and let me make this a 2 so that you can see, okay? So I'm going to multiply 4x into every member of the parentheses. That means at the end, I'm going to have two terms, okay? So there's really a 1 here. So 4 times 1 is 4. And then x times x, okay, this is really a 1. We're going to write the x and we're going to add the exponents. We learned that in week 2, I believe. Okay. So, give me 1 second. My camera is acting weird. Just hold on 1 second. Doesn't look like my camera stopped. Sorry for the pause, but I think it's working. So hopefully this video would be okay. All right, so back to this one. So for the numbers get multiplied together, 4 times 1 is 4, and x times x, you write the base and add the exponents. So 3. And then 4 times 2 in this case is 8. And then x and y really can be multiplied to each other because they're not like terms. So we're going to write that. And then the plus comes, so you just move the plus sign over here, and that will be that. Okay, so numbers times numbers, letters times letters, and if they're terms, the base, and you add the exponents, like we learned in week 2. Okay, that's basically distributive property. Sometimes you have to do this before you can solve for an equation, but I'm going to make a separate video for that one so that we don't have to watch long videos, but keep this distributive property in mind. Okay.